On Wednesday, Iran condemned the United States' threats to block Venezuela's oil exports. The Iranian Foreign Ministry published the action of the United States of America to attack, seize, or obstruct the free transit of commercial ships to or from Venezuela is a clear example of state piracy and armed robbery at sea. To invoke the internal laws of the United States and its unilateral and illegal sanctions to justify these actions cannot in any way serve as a basis to legitimize such criminal acts. The ministry also stressed it is expected that the United Nations, the movement of non-aligned countries, and all responsible governments and relevant international institutions will condemn the illegal and coercive actions of the United States and hold the U.S. government accountable for flagrantly violating the principles of international law and the UN Charter. And the United States is systematically violating 6 fundamental instruments of international law by attempting to appropriate Venezuelan wealth and impose an illegal economic blockade on the country. Washington violates the UN Charter, which prohibits the use of force against the sovereignty of other states and denies the right to self-determination of the Venezuelan people over their resources. Furthermore, the White House disregards Resolution 1803 of 1962, which enshrines permanent sovereignty over natural resources. Furthermore, it also violates Resolution 2625, which prohibits economic coercion to subordinate other countries and commits economic aggression according to Resolution 3314 of the United Nations, which defines the blockade as an act of aggression. It also violates the Geneva Convention by interfering with the navigation of Venezuelan ships. These 6 consecutive violations turned the United States into a state outside of international law, acting as a neo-colonial power. We're going live to Honduras. President Xiomara Castro is offering statements. Let's listen.
I received 4 years ago the country in debt, impoverished, excluded, without opportunities. And during these 4 years, together with you, we have changed the history of Honduras. But beyond changing the history of the country, we have changed the history of a people that we walked in resistance and that has allowed us to prove in the exercise of power halfway, because this power is not the true power that dominates our country. But inside these possibilities that we have had, we have proven that things can be done, that what it's needed is political will, but beyond political will, it is the commitment with you.
Gracias.
Thank you. And what do we have today? Today we have a different Honduras with great possibilities of developing itself. With the refoundation of the state and of the country, we have set the basis ready for Honduras to set flight in all of the areas. You are more aware of what we have developed in these 4 years. No one more than you know, because we have reached your communities, your neighborhoods, your departments, there in the furthest of our country, and I can say with my head held high, Xiomara does fulfill. and that and that commitment that you trusted and put on my person, I can say with all of the truth of the world, and for it to be listened in the furthest of our country, mission accomplished. Thank you. And today, I have called you because the country once again is in a crisis, going through a crisis in our country. Today, the democracy in Honduras is in serious difficulties. They want, and pay attention, they want to manipulate that our democracy and to take decisions that only belong to the people. Those decisions in the only opportunity, democratic opportunity that the people have to manifest themselves, which is in an electoral process. And I have called you to defend the democracy of our country, to not allow the manipulation of the acts, to not allow today our commitment is that in the results of those ballot boxes to be vote by vote. That and from that count of vote by vote to express the will of the people that gave in their ballot boxes. And by convoking you, it is precisely for us to be able to manifest ourselves in a peaceful way, in the way that we are used to, in a peaceful way, because the democracy is defended standing, not in silence. Let's continue defending the votes of the people. And let's do it, and let's wait to see the resolution that come, but the people must claim the vote by vote. That way we can continue building a democracy, that democracy that we dreamt so much during 12 years and 7 months. And from the deepest of my heart, to thank you for all of the backup. And know that this woman, the first female president, the first woman that with dignity has given back to our people the peace and the freedom that they deserved. To say to you that always I will be with you, next to you, and fighting together with you. Prohibited to forget that we are resistance. Strong applause for Xiomara Castro, President of Honduras. And they were sent to prison and chained those who had a different opinion, that dictator. But these elections, companion here present, they are the worst of the history of the democratic life of Honduras from the 80s. That is why we don't accept them, because they are cheated. That is why our demand is to annul these elections. They are the elections that organized crime sponsored. They are the elections that were directed by drug trafficking, and they're the elections that the plan of the 26 audios, and here it seems that nothing has happened. They are these elections out organized crime, out drug trafficking, out the 10 families that give the orders in that National Electoral Council following the foreign interference. Here we have a dignified people, a people that is still standing and maintains itself in fight and has the essence and that has a cause. All of you, all of the leaders of the collectives, the leaders that served the party in each information space, the leaders that registered the people that went to the ballot boxes in the census, the leaders that served in the transportation. We all know the thousands the millions that were distributed to our people to coerce it, to threaten it, to tell them that libre no one more day, and to create hate towards the cause of the Libre Party. But 17 days after, from the symbol of the presidential house that represents the pure sovereignty and the clean sovereignty of the people of Honduras, we say with love, with strength, and with honor, following our cause, here we are. Here we're going to continue defending a popular proposal for the liberation and the emancipation of the people. Those projects, all of the infrastructure, the health, the education, the sports, all of that was Sunday the 30th. After the Sunday the 30th, I am sure that there is in each home of Honduras, independently of how they voted, a new debate, a new discussion, a new seed planted, historical, that has the blood of our leaders and our martyrs, and also with your pain and our pain throughout these last 16 years after the coup. That is why you and I will not surrender. You are my strength, and I will continue being your strength. I will continue representing you with love, with dedication, with sentiment, with decision. And I am sure that your tears, your cries, your moans, and your feelings in each voting center, facing the threats of the maras and facing the threats of the organized crime. That is why I am certain that your pain on Sunday the 30th, where all of the leaders were ready to celebrate our great victory, I am sure that that assault, I am sure that that situation that destroyed the free vote, that destroyed the sincere vote of our people and the decided vote, will have its consequences. The people will send a bill, and I'm going to be there together with you. Exemplary homeland. It is an exemplary homeland. I always thank God, as you know, for allowing me to live these stellar times. Surely, if I had to be born in Croatia, Ernesto, surely I would have been partisan with Tito at the head facing the Nazis. Surely, but that is a chapter of history that we'll talk about in another opportunity. But thank all of you, thank God for allowing us to live this glorious and stellar time of history. Always, we have said that what have we done in the times of Jose Leonardo Chirino if Jose Leonardo would pass next to us. That Jose Leonardo's that sung Tuali Primera.
Que después se volvió gringo y aquí no lo queremos más porque el pueblo compañero, como se dice, el cuero es la cosa. José Leonardo. Cuando batía el melao para echar al español, que después se volvió gringo, y aquí lo tenemos hoy. José Leonardo fue sudor de negro y cacao, cuando batía el melao para echar al español, que después se volvió gringo y aquí lo tenemos hoy. Solo cantaba en los 70 y en los 80.
That was sung in the 70s and the 80s, but you don't know that Ali was a prophet that awoke the conscience to the national singing and poetry. What would we do if one day we woke up and we saw Guaycay Buddha with his Indian calling us to the resistance and the fight? With so much technology, I would feel proud of being an Indian that was combating with Guaycay Buddha at the head. What would we do if our giant Bolivar in Sucre would come to ask our participation for the United Liberator Army? Would we refuse? Would we be at the head? Would we ask, as Manuela Sáenz asked, Liberator, allow me to go to Junín, allow me to go to Ayacucho?
Aircraft to use two of the island's airports has sparked public concern in the Caribbean nation in the context of the U.S. military presence in the region and its threats against Venezuela. Our correspondent Crystal Hoyte in Barbados brings us closer to the issue.
Chief Secretary and Tobago People's Party leader Farley Augustine is responding to renewed public concern after Trinidad and Tobago confirmed that United States military aircraft have been authorized to use both Crown Point and Piarco airports for what the government describes as logistical activity. While national officials have framed the arrangement as routine cooperation, the development has reignited questions in Tobago about consultation, public communication, and how the island is being positioned as regional tensions remain in focus. Mr. Augustine says the issue has stirred fresh anxiety on the ground, and he insists Tobago's stance is guided by restraint and neutrality, not alignment.
And so I want to reiterate not just my position, but the position of Tobagonians as I speak to them on the street. We're not part of any war. 2, our people not fighting any war. 3, no war is being fought from Tobago. So you ain't looking to shoot down nobody from Tobago soil or Tobago waters. 4, that we not picking any team in any race. Americans pick Trump, that is American Trump business. If Venezuelans want to pick Maduro, that is Venezuela and Maduro business. I know come January 12th, Tobago will pick Farley, Chavez, Augustine, and the TPP, and that is our business, because Tobago is we, and we are going to continue to mind our business.
Mr. Augustine argues that fear-driven narratives are outpacing the facts, and he says Tobago is not a launch point for conflict.
And I want to show you how the fear-mongering does not make sense. The United States have a ship with more capabilities, more technological capabilities than the whole of Tobago combined. As a matter of fact, the U.S. with that ship, they don't even need to come in Trinidad and Tobago waters. They could just stay in international waters and do whatever they want to do against whoever they want to do. They don't need us to do that. And so even last night when a member of the media asked me, do you think Tobago will be affected if there is war? And I said, but think about it. The whole Eastern Caribbean, the Southern Caribbean, all of us will be affected. It's not like it's a Tobago alone thing. All of us will be affected.
As scrutiny continues, residents and stakeholders are calling for clearer, steadier communication, particularly on how national security decisions intersect with Tobago's safety, economy, and public confidence during an election season.
Exemplary homeland. It is an exemplary homeland. I always thank God, as you know, for allowing me to